It's a quiet car ride back with 5 of us in the car.
Oh, you
and,
all have to go in the same car.
And the guy is driving. I was like, that was pretty good, huh? That was pretty good. What do you guys think about my Asian women material up there?
The show must go on. Even if the show goes wrong, the show must go wrong.
To start, obviously we know each other well, but can you give the kind of elevator pitch of who you are?
Yeah, Dan Belkin, Canadian comedian. Used to live in Berlin. Now I live in Strasbourg, France, and I perform in a lot of different European places, cities. A lot of it is in Germany, and that's why I'm back in Berlin today.
Yes. I would even go so far, I never thought about this before, but you're probably one of the most prolific touring comedians.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
in Germany a lot.
In Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I don't go to Eastern Europe as much as some people.
Yeah,
Central Eastern Europe.
But I mean, if you think about the bigs, so to speak, your Victors, no one's gonna touch him. Drago,
Yeah.
obviously doing a shit ton of shows. But after him, is there anybody out on the road?
There's a lot of
doing-
people now. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm spacing out, but there's at least 10 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know them, so they can't be
Yeah.
very good.
I was gonna name you. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna be like you, and then you're like, there. I don't even know them there.
Yeah.
Well, you're mean to yourself.
Yeah, I haven't been out on the road in a while. So, okay. Well, I always start the podcast by asking about your last bad gig.
Yeah, there's a place that I do shows at that has food service throughout the whole thing. It's a small space, and there's a person bringing in food orders for people who order their drinks, their food, and because it's so small, it's so distracting, and I'm so bad at faking that I'm not distracted. So
Yes.
you could tell on my
Yeah.
face every time. And so that's I keep going back to that place, but it's a tough room.
That's actually an interesting thing also that I think in the European comedy versus American comedy thing, because in American or Canadian, North American, I guess I should say, like, and
Trying
clubs,
to take over there.
Yeah,
Trying to make it all America.
America, Canada. What's the difference? Potato, potato. No, but in American and North American clubs, it's like very common A, that there's food service, and B, that the wait staff is going and doing drink orders and bringing food and stuff throughout the show. And I did my show when I was back home at like a kind of a small club that's like an hour or two north of San Francisco. But they had that, and it was wildly distracting because it's not a thing here, almost never in Europe. And I felt bad, like it's one of when you like have one of those things that you end up obsessing about. But there was a comic who was working at the club, but also as a waiter, and I was like going into my last bit, and I was like, all right, this is my last bit. And at that moment, he went up to there was a big table of like 12 people right at the front, who were also all my family and friends, by the way. I mean, I sold out, but it was like I brought my high school cross country coach was there, But so he goes up, and I was like, and I just was like, I just said it's gonna be my last bit. Like, what do you don't?
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I obsess about it because I'm like, no, that's the thing in the States. I actually was the unprofessional one in that moment, not him.
Yeah, it just it also adds up to chatter, you know. So like people are ordering the thing, other people see the order, and they might turn to their friend and be like, "Oh, can I? Let's get another thing, you know. Let's get another fries or whatever." And in North America, the rooms are usually a bit larger. The clubs are not 30, 40 seaters where they have food orders. Here, it's like a little basement of 30 people with the food orders throughout the whole thing, and so then chatter starts adding every time somebody comes in. And so throughout the gig, that was going. And eventually one person, one table, they were also drunk and they started like also heckling and stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah. And at one point they were just so loud they would, as when the woman would come in with the orders, this one table, the drunk table, they were like trying to get her attention. They were like, "Oh, over here, we'll have another one," or whatever. You know? As I'm still on stage, and they kept doing that. And then I snapped. And then the audience in Europe, even if they like agree with you, they're not gonna be like vocal about it. This is
they're happy you said something, but they're not gonna clap or cheer, so it feels awkward.
Yeah. They're like, "Oh, we'll just like let this kind of happen. We'll kind of like observe." Everybody in Europe is on some level Switzerland, you know.
Yeah.
They'll just be neutral. Well, you know, we'll financially support whatever whatever is needed. If you need like a mental health GoFundMe after this, we'll donate to that. But we won't stand up for you right here in this room. You know. And so this guy was getting more aggressive, more heckly. Because like a couple times I'm like, "Sir, if you just make eye contact, she'll come to you, and you don't need to like disrupt the whole room." And then more heckling, and eventually I was like, "Look, if you want, I'll pick up the rest of your tab or whatever, and you can go home. You know, we can figure out a refund situation or something. You're being too distracting." And somebody in the crowd went like, "Aw," just like that.
Oh, I hate because at that point I'm like, aren't you also upset that they're ruining the show? Like, is this not? That's
and so I cringe at like it interrupts my showers now. A couple months later, like every time I'm in the shower, like I feel like my hygiene routine is disrupted because I'll be applying like good amounts of soap everywhere, and then I'll forget to do the rest because I'll just be cringing.
I do like to be haunted by an awe, you know?
Dude, I almost got into a car accident the other day. I was driving and it bumped in my head and I just heard "aw" in my mind. I was like, swerve.
I feel like that's now I have it so secondhand. Like the next time I like lose my boner, I'm just gonna hear "aw."
That's the thing, though. It gives me a boner. You know, it's a shame boner. It's a shame boner.
But and how did they handle you telling them to leave?
Well, it was just cold. Like the vibe was weird. After,
but I mean, the people you told to leave, were they?
They quieted down. You know,
so they didn't leave, but they quieted down.
They quieted it down, and then couple minutes later, I can hear the chatter, the drunkenness again. Got through it, ended the show. Some people who were at the show who have seen me before or who are like maybe friends, they came up to me and they're like, "That table was off." I was like, "Why didn't you say something?" Back me up on this. We're in a room together as 30 of us. Like, it's not like we're in a big theater and have security. Like, our security is us.
Yeah. That is another wild thing about the way we do comedy over here is it's like, you're hosting the show, so you're the doorman, the host, sometimes the headliner, you know, and also, the security.
Yeah.
And it's I've had to do it before, and it's so uncomfortable.
You've had to kick someone out?
I was on stage. So I was hosting at the Wall. It was Tara's show. It was like a summer, and these two older, I want to say they were German, but maybe they were, I don't know, some Polish or Swiss or something, but they were pretty hammered. And I was like, okay, like they didn't have reservations. And I was like, okay, you guys can come, but you have to pay at the end. Like, yeah. And then I'm like doing the rest of the check-in, and I look inside, and we play music before the show, and they're standing up dancing to the music. And I was like, this is going to be a problem, you know? And as soon as I got up on stage, I'm hosting it's a problem. It's just they won't shut up. And
as soon as you see phones out and they're starting to record each other,
yeah, phones are also a bad sign. That's
Yeah.
also dangerous.
if somebody has like a little phone lighting gear that they bring on, they're like, oh, you're like a wannabe TikToker or something, and you're drunk dancing at my show. That's like the worst combo because it's content for you too. Because now like people in the crowd are like, oh, all of this is actually content, and they're aware of that, and so they're like, we can take content, make content.
Yeah, it's like a content human centipede.
Exactly. Crowd work clips might come out from the side of the crowd now.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Which I have had that before, where there was a guy once who was like, "I'm an influencer vlogger," and the host was like, "Okay, yeah, like feel free, you can film the show. Just like each comedian will tell you if you can." And I was like, I went up and I was like, "I don't want you to film." And then the set wasn't going that well, and I went back to him and I was like, "How many followers do you have?" It's like 50,000. I was like, "All right, any exposure is good exposure."
Yeah, I had one time this guy who's like anti-Zionist Israeli like influencer professor. His name is Amir Chitzroni. He's like a big deal in Israel. He got a chair thrown at him one time by like a far right ultra Zionist guy. So this guy, he speaks against Israel. He like speaks against the government and stuff. But he's also a troll and a caricature, and he kind of expresses himself in like really off color remarks. Like you could argue that he's also racist towards Arabs too. So like his whole like expression of his anti-Zionism is really brash and is
like a kind of Milo Yiannopoulos kind of character.
Yeah. But with the twist that he's really critical of the Israeli government while also still throwing everyone else, including Palestinians, under the bus from time to time.
Well, that's with Milo. It's like he's like a gay guy, but he's also being so ultra conservative, crazy, blah blah blah. Like
that guy came to a show in Basel that sold 6 tickets, and he was one of the 6 people in the crowd. Okay, there was like maybe 8 people, and it was him and the lady that he's dating. They came, and he was just talking the whole time and heckling, and she was like with her phone. Is
this your
out.
show, or you're performing on the show?
This was a show that I brought to the club, but it had other comics on it as well. So there's several of us. And she has her phone out and she's like recording it, and it's like ending up, on his stories later. So he's creating content for himself. He's winning off of my show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, did you put it in the ticket description that you're not allowed to create content from the audience?
Well, to me, that was my help for Palestine was letting him be empowered. Yes.
And what did you do with him?
Well, I mean, we went back. The thing is, with 8 people and he's 2 of the 8, you can't kick him out. Yeah. So I tried to humor him. All the comics tried to humor him. He was very distracting. There's 2 women at the front who were like, they didn't know what his deal was. They didn't know who he is. They didn't know anything about his positions or what he represents. They just thought that he was being distracting. They're like from, I don't know, I want to say Kenya or something. They're tourists.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we're just trying to see a stand-up show. And they're like mortified. Yeah, like at one point, there was another comic from South Africa, and he's talking about apartheid in South Africa versus Israel or something. And Amir Chitzroni, the professor from the audience, goes like, yeah, in Israel, we just want to kill all the Arabs or something like that. And he's trying to back up what the comic is saying. Yeah. But because you don't know his POV, you don't understand, it just sounds like a Israeli guy with a thick Israeli accent. Be like, yes, you are right, we want to kill all the Arabs.
But what do you think about the whole, because some comedians will say, like, there's no such thing as a bad audience. And I used to kind of be of that school of thought of, like, I mean, obviously there are audiences who are, like, they're just not coming with people on the show. But I always kind of felt like if I were better, I should be able to turn around any show. And now the longer I'm doing it, the more I'm like, no, there are just some audiences who are just, they're not vocally having fun, or they have weird energy. What do you think about the whole good bad audience thing?
For sure, like there's times where it's like a bad date, you know? You
Mm.
go and you're like, there's nothing I could do to save this at this point, you know? Because I've already revealed who I am.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which is the
that was a
first
mistake.
Yeah.
That was a mistake, and I think that's why sometimes it's good to start with like an accent. You know, start by going up, hello, you know, and then if they're like, oh, we don't like this, you're like, it's not actually me.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you try the Asian accent,
Yes.
and that's the
And same advice for dating.
yeah.
You know, if you're ever on a first date, just be like, oh, yo, what's up? What's good? And then transition through several characters.
What if they like it on the first character? Then you're stuck.
Then you got to become that person,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
which happens in stand-up. You become Bert
Yeah,
Kreischer, you
yeah.
know. Yeah, you take off your shirt every time. Yeah, so it's sometimes it's like a bad match, you know. You're not gonna be matched up well. I think like having something that's a goal that's outside of get a good reaction. Like have a
Mm.
goal that's like, oh, I really want to relay this point across or make this funny observation in this joke. I want to make that very clear. I want to make sure that like I illustrate that in the best way possible in how I physically and verbally structure the joke, you know.
Mm.
And so sometimes I'll come out and I won't get the reaction to the joke, but I'll listen back to it. I'm like, actually, I did say it exactly how I wanted to say it, and I think it's good. Actually, it just wasn't for those guys, you know.
Yeah. That's like I told you yesterday. I read Moshe Kasher's book recently, and in it he was talking about that in comedy, where he was like, a huge part of comedy is also just understanding and accepting that like that you weren't for them tonight, and
Yeah.
that's okay. That's
Yeah.
like there are other people that you are for. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what it's like? You know, when someone gives you like a shoulder massage, like you have a knot or something, and you're like, technically what they're doing is good. Like they have really good pressure or something, good technique, but it's just hurting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not relieving the knot at all. You know, that's what it's like sometimes.
You mean for the audience?
Yeah, and doesn't mean that the person isn't well trained or whatever, but that type of massage would work for somebody else. It's too painful
Yeah.
for me. It's too dark. It's too
Yeah.
pressured, you know. Versus for some people, it'd be like, oh, this is too light. I need you to really press it in.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I think also that's a thing that you come up against in Europe more is audiences who have not been to a lot of live comedy or maybe ever been to live comedy, and so it's like if you read about you've read about massages, you watched a massage on
Yeah.
YouTube, and then you go and you're like, oh shit, this is like way more intense.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And similar with the masseuses and the stand-up comedians, they might try and touch you after at the show. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, similar, they both wanted things to end in a happy way.
there you go.
So what about do you have some well actually do you want to talk about like some of your memories of like your worst shows from like earlier on?
Oh,
Or I also
definitely.
wanted to talk to you about the strategies for dealing with if you had a bad show.
Let's go through both. I'll start with just the awfulness of those first year of like just trying to figure out going to like these empty rooms, open mics. I used to in my hometown. Like, did you guys have these like army bars in the States? Like they're called Legions in Canada. The Legions. It's like for retired army. It's also like a community bar, but a lot of like people who used to serve in the military, they like hang out there.
Yeah, we have some similar type things. Yeah.
And so there was like a monthly open mic in the boonies somewhere. It wasn't even like in the small city that I was at. and it was like this like retired army guy who was hosting it, and he would get plastered drunk, and nobody's paying attention. There's like TVs with sports playing in the back, playing in those kinds of rooms, getting heckled. Nobody's paying any attention. At one point, I remember there was like a drum kit in the corner of the room, and one of the drunk guys went over to the drum kit and started drumming loudly as I was on stage, and people started cheering for the drums.
They're like, "This is better." Yeah, that's demoralizing.
Yeah, but then I just did the jokes over top of the drums, and I was like, okay, this could work as a spoken word,
Yeah, and in the what? Yeah, I mean, how? So you have this dream of, I know you were doing improv, but like you have this dream of also doing stand up.
Improv was worse in some capacities because before I started doing stand up, I was doing improv, and I started doing some like paid corporate gigs. There was one guy who would sometimes he would organize company parties, and he had several different formats, sometimes like straight improv games, or sometimes he had these like improvised scripted murder mysteries. You would come in dressed in character, and you would play it was like a Christmas party, and you would play it out. And he would also like field like requests from companies and like put together rosters, but he wouldn't necessarily be the producer. And one time he was helping this other guy who was doing the exact same thing. He was like putting together corporate parties, but he just got into it. He was like this retired, like mid to late 60s teacher who liked like acting on the side. He wasn't like doing stand-up or improv or acting or anything. He just was like, I'm retired now, so I'm going to start putting together these corporate parties. I'm going to do this. But he had like no prior experience really. And he put together this thing, and so I got an email asking to do it. I was like, okay. And it was for a college's, like a department at the college, at the community college. They had their like semester end party. And so it's like the students, some of the faculty, some of the stuff from this department. And it was a murder mystery, and there's like 5 of us, and the head guy is the guy who's organizing it. I don't know him. It's my first time meeting him. I meet him. I go over to his place like the day before to like go over the script, because there's like a minimal script, and he's obese. He's this giant of a man. He opens the door. I think he's wearing like a pap machine mask. He's like breathing very heavily. And I'm like, oh no, I think he's not going to like be able to do the gig. Because like the way these interactive things work is like it's like a big hall, and you have to like
walk around,
and you're not mic'd. So you have to like talk out loud so everybody can hear you,
and this is the guy who's supposed to be leading
He's leading, and he also wrote the script and stuff. And so there's some red flags there. We get to the venue, and it's like up these steep stairs. So he's like dying getting up these stairs. We finally it kind of like opens up into this big hall, and he's playing like the role of a mafia guy who's supposed to give a speech at the beginning. And there's like room for improvisations. So this was like the second gig that I'm describing. This was the second gig that we did. First, we met up at the house, and we did one gig before this that went well. The gig that went well, and this is where I should have seen that this guy is a bit crazy. We had to do like a birthday party for this group of retired women. There's like 12 of them at a cottage house, and we were just literally around the dinner table. And so there wasn't as much moving, but I could see like they were all drunk, and in his like little riffs that he was doing in between his like character monologues, he would like make a sexist remark here and there, off color joke.
Just squeeze in a little for him,
Yeah.
He's like, I need to put some of myself in the character.
Exactly. And squeeze a little bit out of him would have been a good diet plan for him. But he like was making them laugh. They enjoyed the off-color remarks. They were getting in on it, But I was like, okay, I think that's not traditional for like a corporate murder mystery interactive improvisation. It's squeaky clean. Squeaky clean. All the jokes that you're making are like really like dad wordplay jokes.
Yeah.
And it's better if like you're improvising to like improvise a reaction, or improvise off of like somebody in the room, off of like something that they already said that people laughed about, because sometimes the people get in on it and they'll make remarks. In this case, we get there, everyone's suit and ties, everybody's like really like professional with each other, students and faculty and stuff. And so they're not really getting in on it. At the beginning, we're just kind of walking around interacting with people in character before it starts. And there isn't that much participation. So like in my head, I'm like, okay, so it's not going to be that much improvisation. It's going to be mostly of the script.
Yeah.
He gets up there right away, starts going off script. There's a table in front of him of like a couple of Asian students. He starts going off on them.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, this guy, he goes like full on, does a Chinese accent at them.
This is just what my character would do.
Yeah, he's supposed.
I'm not racist. My character is racist.
I think he said that word for word at one point. Yeah, it's like pulling these, and we have to spend 2.5 hours together. The whole room just sucks, like quiet.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like the other actors, they were all like grasping our faces, like what's happening, and he keeps going off script for like 10 minutes, just
And
going
this
off on
is
them.
the initial monologue that you guys are then supposed to then play off of.
Yeah, but he actually stopped doing the scripted monologue.
And
We no longer know what the story is.
he's just
Nobody
ripping
knows
Asian hate.
everything. Just going off on this poor table of international students. It's crazy. And so, that happens. We try going through the motions, but the crowd just wants us out of there at that point. They're enjoying. They had like hors d'oeuvres, like
Yeah.
little food pieces coming and like drinks and stuff. It was really nice. People were mingling. There was like a slideshow with some memories on the thing. It was nice.
Yeah.
And then we
they were
came,
having a nice night, and then you guys showed up.
ruined it right away in the first 5 minutes. And now we're stuck in this, and we have to keep acting. I have to be like, oh no, my uncle has been killed.
Yeah.
And they're like, your uncle was racist.
Yeah. They're like, we're happy your uncle
Yeah.
died.
But then he comes back alive. They're like, no, stay dead.
Yeah.
Stay dead. So we barely, I don't know how we make it through 2.5 hours of this thing. There's several other outbursts that he has. He starts going off. He started off with Asians, then he goes after the women. Then he's like, what's the deal with blind people? He's like, he's like turning into like a racist Jerry Seinfeld,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since you're in character, there's no way for you to like signal to people like we're not.
At one point, I was breaking character. At one point, I was like, "By the way, I'm I'm a student myself. This is like a side gig that I'm doing here."
I love theater, and this is not what I signed
Yeah,
up for.
this is, I'm not usually with this brand. I do these other murder mysteries. I actually have a show coming up this Friday. It's more of like, I'll give you free tickets.
Yeah, catch me in the quad.
So it was awful. And then at the end, and he's so tone deaf that he doesn't understand that it's going poorly.
Yeah.
And so at the end, when we wrap everything up and we're finally done the production, he does like another freestyle monologue about each person in our 5-person or 6-person cast. And he starts going on and like letting each person say a couple of words. And then he gets to me, I'm the last person. This person at this place, he's been talking for like 20 minutes after we were already done the 2-hour thing. He's talking and he's like, and this is Dan. He's a student in town. He does improv. He does a little bit of stand-up. Dan, do you want to say a couple words? I was like, let's go home. And everybody laughs. I was like, yeah. So that's given me like severe trauma. Like I have PTSD about that. I
Did you
cringe
do
really
any
hard.
more like of those type corporate gigs after that?
I did, but I was very careful to like
Vet who you worked with.
who I was working with. Yeah. I was like making sure that it was like a production that I knew type of thing. Because this one I didn't know. I was just like sent it. I was
Yeah.
like, sure, I'll do it. Yeah, these things were always a little bit cringe because you come to a party dressed in a costume. The party's like super politically correct office.
Yeah. I'm imagining when you describe it, what pops in my head is the episode of The Office where Benjamin Franklin, I don't know if you watched The Office, but Michael Scott hires a Benjamin Franklin impersonator. Yeah.
And he's like racist.
And he's like hitting on the
women.
The women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that. One of the times I was doing a murder mystery, and one of the actresses is a porn actress. Actually, that's her actual job. She's a porn star, and she would definitely like get flirted with by the man like in the company. Some of them I think recognized her.
Oh
from
yeah.
other things.
Yeah. They're like, we love your work.
Yeah. And so sometimes that would become the show, was her like riffing on the men flirting with her.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like very. It always leaves you with like these cringe scars, is what I call them.
Yeah. Paint me, so the one that you just told us about, this corporate gig, like, what does that night look like for you? Like, are you just going home and just getting
It's a quiet
barbecued? Like,
car ride back with 5 of us in the car.
Oh, you
and,
all have to go in the same car.
and the guy is driving. I was like, that was pretty good, huh? That was pretty good. What'd you guys think about my Asian women material up there? You know?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's an extra element that then you all file in the car together like some fucked up school field trip.
Yeah. And then he's dropping us off one by one, and he's like, Dan, I think I'm going to drop you off last. I'm like, please, drop me off first, please. I'll walk.
Yeah. So do you have any memory of like early on in your career getting up in front of a crowd and it not going well?
Yeah, I had a night where a girl I was dating came to see me, and there was a good crowd there. And
also, having somebody you know already.
Yeah, and I told her, I was like, I wrote some jokes about us dating. And before the show, I told her some of the jokes, and her reaction to them was so bad. She like didn't like the jokes, and so I think it affected my confidence going into it. And then I get up and I start doing the jokes, and I see her walking to the washroom.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. And then she came back as the next guy was on stage. I was like, oh, did you see? And she's like, I really need to go.
So yeah, having a date at a show, that's brutal. I mean, what made you? Because if I were dating somebody and then I wrote a few jokes about the dating, I'm not sure if I would feel brave enough to do those jokes in front of them. Like, why did you just not have any other material?
That also, I feel like I've always been really bad at keeping my thoughts to myself, and sometimes it's good to keep your thoughts to yourself. So from the moment I started doing stand-up, I was always trying to like get someone's opinion on whether it's my roommates, my friends, or if I was dating somebody, that person, and I couldn't keep it to myself. So when naturally some thoughts occurred to me about jokes for dating, jokes about dating, jokes about my relationship, and it came in the moment of like being with her. I was like, oh, can I share these with you? And she was like, yeah, sure. And that was like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
When you're starting to date somebody, when you're starting to do stand-up, it's better keep it to yourself, you know?
It's an interesting thing of like the, you'll see sometimes comedians who all of a sudden, or like they just are bringing their partner to the shows all the time. And I remember there was this moment with Anya and I when I first started running my own show, and she was coming each time because I think she just was like wanting to be supportive, and I wasn't getting people in. It was like whatever. And she was like, I'm really sorry. I feel so selfish to say this, but like it is so uncomfortable for me to come to these shows, and I would really rather not come. And it was a relief because I also didn't want her there. Like I was like, it's also awkward for me. Like I feel slightly like I can't be quite as free or
and also I feel like I'll speak from my perspective. I don't think my girlfriend, we've been together like 8+ years now, and she's seen me do a lot of stand-up now. She's been to a lot of different shows, and I don't think that she's a good stand-up audience member, you know? I think a lot of people are great stand-up comedy partners, supportive family, supportive individuals, terrible audience members, okay?
Yeah.
They're very good at like getting you back from mental breakdown or from encouraging you, but they're terrible at letting their face show the same, you know? And my girlfriend is Czech, Central European, not known to be big laughers.
Yeah.
You know, and so she would sit in audiences and like kind of death stare the comedians often.
I mean, Germans also, you know, not necessarily notorious laughers, which I actually think for me that's part of the appeal of the relationship. Is in the relationship, I like being with a tough. You know, like
Tough
when
crowd.
a tough crowd, because then when you get her, you're like, oh, fucking,
It's real.
That's a good
It's
laugh.
real. It's like you're always at like a really tough open mic.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say the one thing that I really enjoyed with or have enjoyed is, you know, sometimes you also talk about bit ideas with your partner, and I don't know about for you, but it's like Anya never gets most of the time she's like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't
get
that
it.
that's not funny.
Yeah.
You shouldn't talk about that. That's bad. And the best is when I get one of those and then I do figure it out.
And you're
and
right.
then they come to the show and then she's like, well, I didn't know you would say it that way.
Yeah.
and, then you're
And it's like you weren't really listening.
Yeah.
You don't even know me.
Yeah. You just don't understand art.
It works because the audience had belief in me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know. It's awesome when you say something to your partner, they don't get it. Then they see it at the show, and then they do get it, and then you're like, that gap in difference, that's what's missing. Not just in my stand-up, but just in our communication in general.
If you understood that joke, you would understand me and us a lot better. So we were talking about your parents coming to see you, and you said that was a bomb.
Yeah, so the first time I did my solo show, I was visiting. I was already living in Berlin, but I was visiting my family back in Vancouver, and it was a show called "You Gotta Be Kidding Me," and it was like an hour of Jew jokes in like 2022 or something.
And a lot of like personal stories involving your family.
Yes, but all of it was a little bit like making fun of our experience with these Jewish traditions, these Jewish tropes, these Jewish holidays, whatnot, superstitions, stuff like that. And a lot of it was making fun of my parents. So they came out, and
Sorry, I know you just said it, but just so you've done this show one time.
I haven't done it fully. I've done the material format at shows, like at set lists, at lineup shows, but I haven't done it as a full solo
You've never
show.
done it as a
Never.
cohesive piece. Okay.
This was the first time I was gonna start doing it in Europe, and I wanted to do like a trial in Canada because I was like, I can bring some friends out.
Yeah.
I'll rent a small. So I rented like a 50-seater, and like 25 people came, including my parents, my girlfriend, my brother, and my therapist.
This sounds like a skit or like the start of a street joke. Like
Yeah. They all walk into a bar, and I left.
yeah. And you're
That's
like,
I wanted
you
to
gotta
leave.
be kidding me.
And the therapist brought her Israeli friend with her who didn't appreciate any of my jokes. And also, it was right towards the tail end of like Omicron wave 2022, the summer of. So the last wave of scariness was like that winter. And in Canada, there was even still a lockdown that winter in 2022.
Yeah.
And so it just reopened, and it was a summertime, and it was the first full summer. But some of the spacing restrictions in Canada were still present. So in this 50-seater, they couldn't seat everybody together. So they had like little tables, and they're all separate with a lot of space between them, which is not
Which
good for
is-
stand-up.
Yeah. Another thing, going into good and bad shows,
And they-
spreading out the audience.
They
not
put
great.
the therapist right in front. So I'm playing, and my therapist is right there.
Well,
and I'm like,
why did you invite your therapist?
I really needed everybody in there.
That's
There's also two random girls who came to the show, and they fucking loved it, and they had no idea. I don't know who they were. I think they were just drinking and doing coke the whole time
Yeah.
too. I don't know. They were going to the washroom a lot throughout, and they had no idea what the content. So I had some like friends there. I had my parents.
So there's 25 people. How many of them do you know?
Most of them, I would say, at least 15 I know, and then out of the other 10, some people were friends of my friends. So 15
Like-
were directly related to
Yeah.
me, and then some friends brought their partners or a friend or something like that. And then a couple people, those two girls who were complete randoms, and maybe another couple or two like that. But these two girls were like loving it, laughing
Yeah.
at everything, and often the only laugh that you hear. And that's sometimes worse than just a bomb, because it shows you that maybe they're crazy, and because they're crazy and they're laughing at this, that somehow means that I'm crazy too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and also I think if you have, in the same way that like in an audience, having one or two really good laughers can change the whole chemistry of the audience, where other people will start laughing more because these two people are laughing. If you have two crazy laughers, it can also shut down the rest of the audience.
Yeah.
Because
We're not crazy like them.
yeah, and it's kind of like they start the show stops being your show and it starts being their reaction to your show is the show. They're like, well, what are they gonna laugh at? Oh, this is weird. What's
Yeah.
up with them? The washroom again? Like,
Yeah, and then whenever they would go to the washroom, it would almost be like, all right, now let's do this bit that I really need the correct timing on, and all the beats. I really gotta squeeze it out while they're doing cocaine in the washroom.
and was your how? I mean, did you just avoid looking at your therapist the whole time? Because that's what it.
Yeah, I basically was looking right over her, which was awkward because she was right in front of me at a chair and table right in front of me, and I would just like look over. But it's not that many people in the room, and there's nobody really directly behind her either.
And also, actually, now that I think about it, it's like, what are the better options? You're like, don't look at the therapist. Look over here. Fuck, it's my parents.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's my girlfriend. Did you catch your therapist taking notes at all, or?
I don't know, but I will say that after that, the therapy sessions, I feel like she was getting me more. Okay. I feel like she was like spot on with like, okay, I think you have like a really bad people pleasing, validation seeking behavior. I was like, you invited your parents, your ex-girlfriend, your current girlfriend, and your therapist. Yeah. It's like all the people you need to tell you that you're doing okay, all in one room. And like what you were saying about looking at the different tables and being like, oh no, my parents. It's like in context that made me more comfortable with making eye contact with my parents, because the other option was making eye contact with my therapist, you know?
And you just kind of glossed it over there, but also your ex-girlfriend was there as well?
No, I lied about that
okay.
part. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. And ride home with the parents afterwards?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Quiet. Very
Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah.
Very quiet. And then it's funny because I talked more shit during that time. I did more jokes, more embarrassing things about my dad than my mom. My mom, I said this one little thing about a superstition that she had, about how she doesn't like us whistling in the house because it's like a bad. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's like about a superstition that she had. And she snaps in the car. She's like, "I let you whistle as much as you want." And literally later that night, I was just to test the theory. I was at home and I started whistling. She's like, "Please don't whistle."
So I obviously did a whole show about my moms, and my moms came to Europe to visit. So we go to Barcelona, and I was like, all right, I'll do my solo show while I'm there. And they gave me 10 p.m. Sunday night. And in my head, I was like, it's Barcelona. Maybe it's like
Lively.
Yeah. And then you show up and you're like, oh, no, like this is the spot you give to people where you're like, yeah, you can have this. We can only gain something from this.
Yeah.
So my mom's and my wife were coming, and I had like 6 like Saturday night I showed up. They also did the ticketing through their thing, so I didn't know the numbers. And I'm like, hey, so where are we at? And they're like, I think we got like 6. And I'm like, fuck. No, it was 3. It was 3. I remember because I told Louie, and she was like, we're the 3, your mom's and your wife. And I was like, no. They didn't reserve. They didn't bother. And so I was out barking. And they came later because I went and did an early show also so that I could try to be like, stay for my show. And so I'll never forget it, but just like the 3 of them turning the corner and I'm just on the corner like barking. And I've never felt more humiliated.
Yes.
And the show itself, it was not great. And in the end, I think I got 12 people, including my mom and my mom's and my wife. And it was, it was rough. Well, okay. So the last two things I wanted to talk about is one is, I mean, you've been someone who's been like inspirational to me in the sense of, like this Christmas I was kind of like down, and you were helping me reframe the progress I've made, and being like, hey, this is, if 3 years ago, if you told yourself that you would be headlining these shows, doing this thing or that thing, you would be super proud, and that was really helpful. And I didn't originally think of this as part of the podcast, but I think it is also nice to talk about like what our goals are, and because also it's like the definition of making it is kind of funny. Like, technically, we've made it. We're making money from doing comedy, which is great. I'd love to make more. I'd like to make like double what I'm making.
I just want to have like enough money that if I find $20 on the ground, that doesn't like change my whole personality for the rest of the day.
I just want to make enough money that my wife stops calling this a hobby. But I mean, in your dream scenario, like, are you touring Europe? Are you going back to Canada sometimes? Are you turning over an hour? What would be your absolute, dream scenario for comedy?
Yeah, like be able to like write a really funny suicide note, probably. Be able
like the most epic, like a profound. People talk about it's the gold standard of suicide notes.
Yeah. Be like, that was the funniest way somebody has killed himself.
It gets commissioned into a one-man show on Broadway.
They use an AI of myself to do it.
Yeah.
My career lives on after I died, like a way better Vincent Van Gogh.
Your suicide note is your Starry Night.
I think that's my career goal, is to die at a time where AI is so advanced that my career can keep going even after my death, and I've created enough content that I get replaced by a robot after my death. No, I don't know. I think if I have to be honest with myself, I think I want to be able to live a life where I'm able to have some security, where I'm not like worried that I'm not gonna have work in a couple of months, because it's like touch and go. The summers are really difficult. So be able to like even look a year or two ahead and be like, even if I don't get work throughout a longer period of time, like a year or something, I'll still be okay. So like get to that level of security, and the rest I don't think I necessarily.
Do you think about, like, for example, I never thought about it this way, but like I met this guy when I did the comedy competition last year, and he was like, my goal is to write 10 hours.
I used to have that. I think I wanted like 10 hours or like maybe 5 hours, 5 good hours. Now I'm like, I'll just put out what I put out. I hope that at the end I have somewhere between 5 to 7 hours or something. But at the same time, I'm not that stressed anymore. I wanted really bad to like put out my first hour, get it out there. But I'm like, I have in parts put it out as clips and stuff, and little videos and sets of videos of sets and stuff like that. So that material is out there, and I think in some way the sets might be a better representation of that material than like if I try to put it all in one releasable hour, because I have toured it as a solo, some of it. And I have done these longer sets with this material, but I don't know that I necessarily want to release it as one cohesive chunk, as much as I am happy that I released it in the ways of small
little bites
of stuff. So I probably have an hour of material out on the internet in bites, and I'm happy with that. Going forward, I would love to be able to capture the material in long form settings and put that out, but the primary goal is just to establish a healthy routine of writing, performing, touring, not burning out, and at the same time, like developing more stability where I'm not worried like about 3 months from now or something. You know?
And being able to then feel more secure in your, whatever your
Yeah.
home life and
And if that doesn't work and everything is crashing and burning, then like funny suicide note. Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I forgot to. That was one other thing I wanted to talk about, which is so you, as I said at the very beginning of the podcast, you're on the road a lot, and
Yeah.
the idea for this whole podcast actually came from I was got booked for this corporate gig, and this DJ, she, I just started doing my tour, and we were talking. I was like, oh, that's so cool, and she was like, yeah, and I think what was happening was like I was kind of saying like, yeah, I'm doing my first tour. It's like harder than I expected, and she's like, yeah, it's the same way for me. Like I you have these moments where you're in a club, you're DJing, there's like 500 people feeding off of the energy that you're giving them, and then the next thing you're just like by yourself,
Yeah.
and it's like extremely lonely. And I have to say I experienced that to some extent myself, where it's like, okay, you're having this show. If it's going well, you're like really connecting with these people and having this moment. And then afterwards, you're just like by yourself eating a burger or like in your hostel or whatever. And it can feel kind of bleak in moments. And so what is your experience of being on the road? Is it thrilling? Is it, demoralizing? Is it lonely? Is it, what does that feel like for you? I mean, you are doing more lineup shows and stuff, but
Yeah. I do think that I'm quite solitary, so I don't mind the moments of alone. And to me, the moments where I'm surrounded by people where I'm not on stage, like before the show or after the show, and there's a lot of people, that to me is difficult. Like,
yeah.
I get overwhelmed. I don't like eye contact that much. I get to feel uncomfortable with it. I have a hard time, like, when I'm not on stage, like coming out of my shell and like fully expressing myself and stuff like that. So I don't mind the alone time. The downtime is easy for me. I enjoy being on stage. I feel like there I get to express myself, and then the in between is the difficult things for me. So yeah, like a lot of small talk is difficult.
And it is like running shows is like customer service kind of energy where you're like, oh, hey, how you going? Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And then after, especially then, it's also very uncomfortable because they're like, oh, wow, you do the thing. And yeah, so, but you mentioned like burnout. Like what do you think is causing or would cause you to have burnout with touring?
I think it's like the routine that you establish. So some people, they tour kind of healthy. They stay not in a hostel, so like they'll put up the money up front. They'll take more of a hit, but they're more comfortable. They have like a nicer breakfast. Maybe they'll go for a run or something. My mom's encouraging me to do this. She's like a fitness instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And for one of the holidays, she gave me like a skipping rope that I can take on the road with me. And she's like, oh, this is good for your nervous energy, skipping rope. And it's funny because I haven't been skipping at all, but
You have been whistling.
I have been whistling. And I actually wrote a joke. I was like, it's so funny. Like, my mom doesn't realize that when you talk about the elements of nervous energy, comedians' road life, then I would be more likely to like use the rope at the hotel alone after the show than I am in the green room to do jumping exercises. So I haven't been skipping on the rope. I should. Yeah, I want to be healthier. I want to have more of a routine. I want to be able to, like, when I'm on the road, do more healthy eating, healthy sleep, maybe some exercise. I know it's fucking boring, but yeah.
And when you're going out, you're usually going out for like 4 or 5 days at a time, new city each day.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days. 3 or 4. Sometimes the cities are close to where I'm living, so I will actually come home the same night. But yeah, usually like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes it's 3 days and it would just be like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the best days. That's when you do it. It's tough to play like a Monday.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I try not to do that. Yeah, also that's the other thing. It's like being strategic. Like just because I can add another city, not to do it if it's like a Tuesday or a Monday, because that'll just make me more tired for like a risky thing that I'm just like wagering my energy on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being more selective, more strategic, doing less, doing healthier. That's my thing. That's what I want to do.
And does the stress of the show or like getting people out to the show take a toll, or is it mostly just the travel, not being home?
Yeah, I would say it's both the promotion. I'm not a big social media guy. Don't like promoting that much. So like that is stressful. Having a lot of people get tickets the day of, it's always stressful, especially when it gets better weather and it's really last second. Yeah. So that, but also the travel. I'm trying to be smarter and like if needed, don't take the Flixbus, spend more and take like the train so you're more comfortable.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
And
I think I want to get a horse. I think that would be good for like, I feel like between the 1 hour cities, having a like going on a horse.
I mean, it would be romantic.
Yeah.
It's good content. You're the horse comedian.
No one's doing the horse.
No
comedian.
one's doing a horse comedian. I think
Yeah.
it's definitely an angle.
Yeah.
I kind of see you as more of a mule guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can pull off horse. I kind of think you're more in like a donkey mule.
Okay. Okay.
Because you're so left leaning.
Ah.
Of course.
Are you calling me a jackass?
Well, I think we covered it. This was
Yes.
awesome. Is there anything else you want to mention before we? Well, then tell the folks where to find you.
Dan Belkin Comedy.
At Dan Belkin Comedy. The link will be there. Go see Dan on tour this fall, winter.
Yes.
We'll have the tour dates that he's announced at the point when this podcast comes out in the description.
There you go.
And thanks, dude. This was awesome.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, man.
The show must go on. Even if the show goes wrong. The show